Hello, this is Chef John from foodwishes.com with Beef on Weck Part 2, the meat. That's right, I know it's only been a couple days, but a lot of you are asking, where's the beef? Some of you even using all caps, which of course totally gets my attention. But anyway, as promised, this is how I do my roast beef for Beef on Weck. And I think some of you might be a little surprised because I'm not going to use a traditional roast beef done in an oven. I'm actually going to use something closer to a steak and pan roast it. So let's go ahead and get started. And for that, we need a heavy-duty skillet set on medium-high heat. Get it nice and hot with a little bit of vegetable oil in there. At which point, we'll begin to sear this, a top sirloin roast, which really is nothing more than an extra thick-cut top sirloin steak. And by the way, before I forget, we're only going to season this with salt and pepper. All right, that's the rule. Hey, don't get mad at me. Talk to my friends in Buffalo. And we're going to sear that good and proper on medium-high till we have a gorgeous, gorgeous crust. And take your time. Obviously, we're editing here, but that first side took about 4 or 5 minutes. And once we do flip it to the other side, I generally like to lower my heat a little bit and finish like at medium heat. And because this top sirloin roast is only a couple inches thick, we don't even have to turn on the oven. So that's one big reason I like to use this cut, but also we have a ton of surface area. And not only are the two sides of this meat getting nice and caramelized, it's also going to give us a nice amount of caramelization on the bottom of the pan. And of course, we're going to use that fond to make the au jus to serve alongside the sandwich. So right about here, mine felt just about perfect. And if you're using a thermometer, you can go for about 125 internal temperature. And when you think your meat's to the perfect degree of doneness, simply turn off the heat and remove that top sirloin to a plate to rest. Okay, so our meat's resting, our heat is off. And in that same pan, we're going to dump a little bit of flour, not too much. This is not a gravy. This is an au jus. And there should be just enough vegetable oil and rendered beef fat in that pan to make a little bit of a roux as you stir in that flour. If you have to add another teaspoon of oil or butter, go ahead. And we only need to cook that roux for about a minute, all right? And at that point, we can go ahead and pour in our cold beef broth or beef stock. And by the way, this au jus is only going to be as good as the beef broth you're using. So I'm going to give you a tip on the blog of where to find some really good stuff. But we're going to go ahead and whisk that in. And once that's in, let's go ahead and raise our heat back up to medium-high, because we want this to come up to a simmer and reduce a little bit. And while we're waiting, we'll season this up very simply. We'll give it a little shot of freshly ground black pepper. No salt yet. We have to check that at the end. So a little touch of black pepper. And then my one and only personal secret ingredient to this, a little drizzle of balsamic vinegar. Oh yeah. That's going to deepen that color a bit, make it nominally more gorgeous. But it's also going to add a little sweetness and a little bit of tang. Don't worry, your friend from Buffalo will never know it's even in there. Trust me. Oh, and of course, I shouldn't have to tell you, but I will anyway. Please add back in any accumulated juices. I mean, come on, what kind of person throws away accumulated juices? So we'll add those back in, of course. And then all we're going to do is let this cook for about 5 minutes until it reduces a little bit. You can kind of see there the ring on the side of the pan, how far mine reduced. And that's pretty much it. Like I said, we're not going for a gravy here. This is supposed to be an au jus. And by the way, I apologize to French people. I know that means with juice. It makes no sense grammatically. But you know what? We're Americans. Does not bother us. But anyway, the point is you really don't want this any thicker than what you see here. And of course, you're going to taste this for seasoning. Now we can taste for salt. All right, depending on how much you put on your top sirloin, and more importantly, how much was in that beef broth you used, you may or may not need some here. I did, just a little pinch though. And once you're happy with how that tastes, your au jus is done. Just simply keep that warm until final assembly, which is about to go down right now. So we'll move back over to our roast top sirloin, and we'll go ahead and slice this up as thin as we can possibly get it. And of course, just because I like mine pink doesn't mean you have to. You are the chief of your beef, and well within your rights to ruin this by cooking it well done. So suit yourself. But anyway, like I said, we want to do nice thin slices. So that's looking very good right there, except I feel like I'm forgetting something. Oh yeah, where's that little piece? I can't put that on the sandwich. Besides, you're never too busy to do quality control. And then once our roast beef has been thinly sliced, we're going to go ahead and pile that on our weck. And I'm talking pile, copious amounts. Do not be stingy with the beef. Now, a lot of people like to dip that roll in the au jus, which is fine, but you don't need to do that if you're serving it with the au jus like we are. And then, of course, we're going to finish this with lettuce, tomato, and sprouts. Actually, I'm just kidding. Don't even think of putting lettuce, tomato, and sprouts on this. The only other thing that goes on this is horseradish. So take the top of your roll and put on a ton of extra hot horseradish. Like a lot, like a ½ inch of horseradish. And we'll press that on the top, and your beef on a weck, or beef on weck if you prefer, is done. And the rest of this is pretty easy to figure out. It's basically dip, bite, dip, bite, dip, bite until it's gone. And that weck roll is going to have the perfect texture for sucking up that juice, absorbing all those flavors. This is just an incredible sandwich experience. And one way you can tell how great this was, I forgot which way the light was coming from. So pardon the shadows, but this really was fantastic. And when you have these back east, usually it's french fries and pickles, but I'm doing chips, a perfectly fine substitute. And I actually feel guilty kind of eating this by myself. So let's do one together. You ready? We put our hand on our Weck. When I dip, you dip, we dip. I know, I'm sorry, it's not quite the same. So here's what I suggest. Bake a batch of these Weck rolls, and then use this super fast and easy technique for roasting your beef, and make some of these yourself, okay? So I really do hope you give these a try. Head over to foodwishes.com for all the ingredient amounts and more info as usual. And as always, enjoy.